please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, a lot of bulls went to sleep on Friday night quite worried after the US markets did take a bit of a hit. But this morning, well, Asian markets, they've brushed that news aside overnight, and our own Indian markets were gained close to around 420 points from the recent lows of sub that 10,000 odd mark. So good going for us. Hello and welcome to Chartbusters. I'm Nigel D'Souza, and with me as always, Mangalam Malu. Hey Mangalam, good news for the bulls this morning. Well, the markets are holding with good gains. We're headed towards the 10,400 odd mark. It couldn't be a better Monday morning, eh?
Couldn't be a better Monday morning, Nigel. You know, you spoke about all those US market worries. I was looking at Donald Trump's tweets. He said that President Xi and I are friends irrespective of the trade wars and stuff. Maybe he's proposing that they go get a pizza. So take a look at Jubilant Food. Maybe he's saying, let's go probably get some coffee. So take a look at Tata Global Beverages. Or he's saying, let's grab a burger together. McDonald's, all of them are buzzing in trade today. Perhaps if they want to take their friendship to the next level, buy them some jewelry. Titan, that one is also at the high point of the day.
For the time being, Mangalam, irrespective if they're not having a burger, if they're not having coffee, if they're not having, they're not giving each other jewelry as well, the markets are saying, let them do that. Maybe we'll celebrate that more. But for the time being, just take a look at us. We're holding with good gains. And it's encouraging because last week we were up close to 2.2%. And now we're seeing some follow-through buying. Otherwise, okay, a relative outperformance is great news. But it seems that, the street is quite optimistic. We're going to be kickstarting Q4 earnings. Oopsie, it's going to be a busy couple of months. But good to see green on the screen.
Good to see green on the screen. So first up, all the top stories that we're tracking at this point in time. Then we'll talk about individual stocks. Titan, that one gained some trade after the company gave a fourth quarter update, signaling mid-teen growth in the jewelry segment. A great quarter, particularly in its watches segment, which scaled new heights in terms of revenue and profitability.
And pizza time. Jubilant FoodWorks hits a record high after CLSA retains a buy rating with a target price of 2,800 rupees per share. The brokerage forecasts a 23% same-store sales growth for the pizza giant.
NBFCs, non-bank finance corporations, trade in the green after the Reserve Bank of India increases the FII limit in debt markets. L&T Finance tells CNBC TV18 that a decline in bond rates is positive for NBFCs.
And Lemon Tree Hotels checks in, makes a strong debut on the Lal Street with a 10% premium to its issue price of 56 rupees per share. All right, then the Nifty is holding with good gains as we speak. I mean, we're holding with around a 45-point uptake. The rest of Asia as well is doing quite well. The Hang Seng at one point of time was up close to around 500 points. So the Asian market setup is quite positive. And that's why, in fact, we are participating as well. From the recent lows, as I said earlier, more than 400 points from the recent lows. Hang Seng is still holding with a gain of around 500 points. But what's the trade on the Nifty from here? Ashwini Gujral joins us to give us his take. Hi, Ashwini. Good morning. Monday morning, what's the trade on the Nifty?
See, Monday morning, you should try to buy into the Nifty because it appears that last week's rally on the financials is resuming. And if financials do well, chances are Nifty also picks up. So that way, Nifty is kind of subdued because of ICICI Bank. I would expect that by afternoon, even there, buying will come back. So chances are the gains will build on. So that way, positive for the day. For the moment, Titan is a buy with a stop of 960, target of 985. Balkrishna Industries a buy with a stop of 1255, target of 1310. And IndusInd Bank is a buy with a stop of 1835, target of 1880.
Right, Ashwini, earlier you have spoken about Jubilant Food. You were positive on it. Now you've spoken about Titan as well. But as we speak, a lot of these FMCG companies, they're making the high point of today's trading session. HUL, for instance, is at the high point. Marico, too, should come up for you. That one's trading at the high point. Any other ideas in the FMCG space, or you will stick to Titan and Jubilant Food?
Titan and Jubilant will probably outperform in FMCG, but this year is, FMCG type of year where people want to be safe rather than take, aggressive bets on, infra and capital goods, etc. So that way, I think that will be the leading sector. But for the moment, I think corporate banks are coming back very strongly, and that rally could continue for a bit.
All right, when you speak about corporate banks, Ashwini, a word on PSU banks as well. Over the last couple of sessions, we've seen some recovery in PSU banks in the second half of trade particularly. And there's good news after good news coming in from the RBI's RBI's purview as far as the PSU banks are concerned. Do you think a bit of a bottom has been made after the kind of drubbing that we've seen in PSU banks?
It may not be the bottom, but a bottom may have been made, and you'll get your 15% rally, and then it's back to the same story. So that way, you can be positive on PSU banks, but overall, longer term, you have to stick with banks which are at new highs, which is HDFC Bank, IndusInd, and Kotak.
Okay, all right. Ashwini, thanks so much for joining in and giving us a
half century for the Nifty, 50 points higher, and oil marketing companies, they're raising their bats. The BSE oil and gas index should come off you. That one is at the high point of the day. So we'll watch out for all these oil marketing companies as well as ONGC. There you have it, OIL. But talking about OIL, just shift the letters up. You have IOL, Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals. That one is buzzing in trade as well. In fact, IOL Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals, over the last 2 weeks, the stock is up about 10%. And today as well, as we speak, it's up about 5%. So what exactly explains this sort of buzz on the stock? We have the management, the joint MD of the company joining in, Mr. Vijay Garg. He joins us on the phone line. Thanks a lot, Mr. Garg, for joining in. First up, the street's pretty excited about the prospects of your business going forward, given the sort of moves that we've seen on the stock in the last couple of weeks. So if you could explain to us your ibuprofen business, that's the mainstay of the company, right? So you've increased some capacity there. How much is it right now, and what is it likely to go to going forward?
Yeah, we have increased capacities from 5,000 tons to 8,000 tons per annum. It will further increase to 10,000 tons.
When does that come on stream?
Maybe it will come by Q2. Expansion is already under plan. Debottlenecking rather is already under way. And then within 3 months' time, we'll add another 2,000 tons.
2,000 tons. So currently your total capacity has gone to 10,000 tons?
Around, total capacity will be, say, Q2, it will be 10,000 tons. Present, okay. we are operating at 8,000 tons.
All right. Mr. Garg, you had disclosed on the exchange that you required around 200 crores for this expansion. If you could break that up for us, you had said internal accruals, debt. So how much of it was internal accruals, how much of it was the promoter's contribution, and how much of it was debt?
No, actually speaking, we are planning some soft loans from the promoters and some equity, and coupled with the internal accruals which will come in this year.
So, Mr. Garg, what my colleague's trying to ask you is that the 200 crore rupees that you are planning to raise for this, can you break that up? You said yes, soft loans from the promoters, some internal accruals and some debt. If you could tell us how much of what are you looking to get?
See, this 200 crores we are planning over 3 years' time. This year we are planning around 100 crores of the investments. For this, around 20% will come from the internal accruals, and around 40% will come from equity, and 40% from the soft loans from the promoters.
Soft loans, you mean what? Promoters will not take any interest?
No. Presently, they will not. They will not take any kind of interest on soft loans.
Okay, give us the biggest problem has been, with regard to the finance cost. The finance cost is around 50 crores for the first 9 months. If you could tell us what is the total loan on the books, including the working capital. But Mr. Garg, just hold on to that thought, sir. I'll just come back to you. The Supreme Court, we're just getting some news that's coming in there. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear the Binani Industries plea on April 13th, I believe. And in fact, I think they've admitted the plea as well with regard to an out-of-court settlement. So, the Binani Industries, Binani Cement, they are trying to settle this out of court. Dalmia Bharat has been given the highest bidder as per the COC. Now, in fact, there's a counter offer that's come forth from Binani Industries as well as Ultratech Cement. So now, in fact, the Supreme Court has agreed to hear this Binani Industries plea for out-of-court settlement, and the date is April 13th. So all eyes on April 13th. We have been repeatedly telling Binani Industries shareholders, please be careful, all your shareholders. There's no guarantee that y'all are going to get any money out of this entire deal or this entire saga that's playing out. So yes, we are seeing a trading bounce, but there's no guarantee that Binani Industries shareholders will be getting anything big, or they have to get anything from this particular deal. So yes, the creditors can get more money. Yes, more amount of the bankers will get money, but it's not necessary that in fact the Binani Industries shareholders will get. There is a possibility, yes, but there's no guarantee whatsoever. So Binani Industries shareholders, please be very, very careful when you're looking at this set of news. Yes, we're trying to find out who exactly is going to be, who's going to be getting this prized assets, but Binani Industries shareholders, just be cautioned on that front. But we'll get Ashmit as well to fill us in on this. Mr. Garg, sorry for that, sir. We just had some breaking news that's coming in there. What exactly is the total debt in your books, including working capital?
Presently, it's around 560. Okay. So we are planning around 20-25 crores this year, and repayment this year is around 26. So in nutshell, if you see by end of this year, the debt will be remaining same, 560.
All right, we get it. 560 crores is the debt on your books. Mr. Garg, now we'll talk about your ibuprofen business in a bit, the prospects of that. But if you could tell us exactly what's happening in the chemical business, because I'm just taking a look at the numbers. That business used to be making a loss earlier, and now it's turned into the green. Anything fundamentally that's changed, and what kind of sustainable EBIT run rate can we expect from the chemicals business?
See, chemical, what we have done in the past, it was in red, where we have stopped the production of the chemicals where we were bleeding, like we have stopped the production of acetic anhydride where we were bleeding a lot. We have added one new molecule, that is IBAP, for sales in chemical business. So coupled with, we have increased the capacity utilization of our existing ethyl acetate, which is a major chemical for us. With the increase in the capacity utilization, the total profitability has increased. So that is why we are presently running chemical business also in positive.
Ethyl acetate, what is the capacity? I remember you were doing 30,000 to 40,000. What is it currently? What is the total capacity and what are you running it at?
Capacity total is around 87,000. We were running at 50%, and presently we have increased it to 75% capacity utilization. This year we will be using around 80-85%.
Okay, all right.
And further in our chemical portfolio in terms of EBITDA will be increased.
All right, Mr. Garg, very quickly before we let you go, for 9 months you've done around 730 crores approximately on the top line, and you're doing margins of around 12.5%. Now for FY19, you're talking about various capacities coming on stream. So what kind of revenue growth can you do? And margins at 12.5%, can you hold on there? Because though your pharma business is growing well, the margins are getting compressed. So give us some guidance for FY19.
FY19, we are quite sure that 30 to 40% will be growth in as far as the revenue is concerned. As far as margins are concerned, since our ibuprofen business or pharma business is doing very well, so if you see on year-to-year basis, it will be if we see the PAT will be increased by at least you can say 2-3 times, rather more than 100% will be growth in PAT as far as overall year-on-year basis.
Fair point there, Mr. Garg. You're sounding very optimistic. 30 to 40% revenue growth, 100% growth on the bottom line. So for shareholders, can they expect some dividend come by in FY19? Because for the longest time, don't remember IOL Chemicals giving some dividends.
Definitely we will review for this, boss. Definitely, because the company is doing so well, so our shareholders deserve that.
All right, fine. Thanks a lot for that. Definitely, you will give some dividend or you will review that. Shareholders will keep an eye out on that. But watch out for Binani Industries. That stock actually earlier spiked and now has fallen lower. In fact, it's gone off the high point of the day. Basis the news that came by that the Supreme Court is likely to hear Binani Industries plea on April 13. But do Binani Industries shareholders get anything or not? Well, the jury is still out. But talking about the jury, Ashmit Kumar is with us on the phone line to fill us in on all the details of the happenings in the Supreme Court. Ashmit.
Well, as Ritu had reported over the weekend, this move was an anticipated one.
Right.
Binani, just as the NCLAT order had prescribed, that NCLT order, which had the NCLAT order, the appellate tribunal's order, which had provided for an out-of-court settlement, had also clearly provided in the order itself that the order will have to be vetted by an appropriate court, the appropriate court, of course, being the apex court. And in light of that, what we find is that Binani Industries has moved the apex court with their offer of about slightly north of 7,600 crore rupees plus interest till the commencement of insolvency proceedings. That's the figure that they've submitted before the apex court. The prayer that they've submitted essentially before the apex court is twofold. One is that this offer should be vetted, given that it's backed by the lender, should be vetted by the apex court. That's a regulatory requirement. The other is termination of insolvency proceedings against them. That's pending before NCLT Kolkata. Now, as of right now, the apex court has agreed to hear the petition and has posted the matter for hearing on Friday. That would be April 13th. So clearly, as of right now, Binani looking to comply with that NCLAT order on out-of-court settlement, and having submitted that offer, will await the Supreme Court's nod on Friday.
All right, Ashmayat, very quickly, you said the offer is around 7,600 crores?
Well, that's the figure that we're picking up from the council, that the figure that they've submitted is slightly north of 7,600 crore rupees, plus, of course, would be the interest component till the commencement of the insolvency proceedings. That's the figure they have submitted. We'll, of course, be picking up details once we get a copy of the petition.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out on that. Mangalam, I want to look out for that 7,600 crore number very, very closely. Remember, Dalmia's offer was around 6,600 crores. We don't have the actual numbers, but indications are it's around 6,500 to around 6,700 crores, very, very ballpark. Now, with this 7,600 crores, I want to understand how much more money are the bankers getting.
Right.
So that's going to be quite important as well. Anyways, we've got a date on Friday, so we'll wait to hear out what the Supreme Court has to say on this verdict. But as always, our duty is to caution the Binani Industries shareholders. You may or may not get anything out of this deal because Binani Cement is the one that's getting sold out there. Keep an eye out on a few stocks. VIP Limited, just pull up that stock. It's moved to the high point of the day. And Bombay Dyeing, that's the other one as well. That's spiking up and volumes as well picking up on that counter. So just keep an eye out on a couple of these stocks. But moving on then, government and banking sources tell CNBC TV18 that the RBI may tweak the NPA resolution rules soon. And a parliamentary committee, that meeting is likely to be scheduled on this particular issue very, very soon. Ritu Singh joins us to fill us in on all those details. Hi, Ritu.
Hi, Nigel. You're right. There is some relief in store for banks after the raise that they got on bonds on provisioning as well for NCLT cases. Now it looks like the Reserve Bank of India may make modifications to the Feb 12th NPA circular that, remember, has been a big cause of concern for the banks for all the, hit that they would have to take in this quarter on account of the large NPAs that they would have to declare. There is a parliamentary committee meeting tomorrow with the bankers on this NPA circular, and banks as well as the government have made their representations to the RBI as well, or conveyed their views on what modifications they're looking at. Here's what the IBA has proposed in terms of changes, and some of the key ones that are likely to be adopted. Number one is, reduce the lender's approval for approving the resolution plan from 100% approval to 75%. The second important one is doing away with the one-day default reporting and allowing a 30-day cure period instead. Besides these, there are several other changes that have been proposed, including, allowing SDR S4A cases to remain in standstill mode, allowing refinancing of infrastructure companies without declaring them NPAs, etc. But the two ones that I mentioned first are the most crucial ones to watch out for, and these changes are expected soon. We also heard from the DFS Secretary, during the IBLA Awards that they have in fact made these representations, and changes should be expected soon.
Absolutely, Ritu. Thanks a lot for that. In fact, you spoke about the IBLA Awards. We spoke with Rajiv Kumar, the DFS Secretary, on the sidelines of the same awards, and this is what he had to say.
IBA has represented to the RBI. There are representations which have come from other sources as well. The regulator is seized with the matter. There are 2-3 specific issues out there. One is about the one-day default. Another is about the veto. So I'm sure the decision will be taken, and the references have been sent to the regulator for this.
All right, then.